North Carolina cops host small party with white guys who broke into black woman's apartment. What Shanay Porter discovered when she came home to her apartment in Raleigh, North Carolina last week would horrify most people, especially a woman who lives alone. Her door was open, and inside two strange men were chilling in her room. They helped themselves to her food. They were wearing her ex-boyfriend's clothes. One of them had even used her shower. Shocked, Porter simply said, "Who are you?" When one of the men came toward her, she quickly closed the door. I just looked at him and said, "Who are you?" And he started coming toward me, and I hurried up and closed the door. Porter said, "I didn't know what to think or what to say. I was so speechless. I'd never seen anything like this before." Porter called 911, and the police soon arrived. Hooray. Unfortunately, the officers didn't respond with the urgency you might expect. This is when we reveal the less than shocking plot twist that Porter is black and the men who broke into our home are white. And let's hear what transpired. Oh, wow.
We built our 5G nationwide so millions of people could do what they love in Verizon 5G quality. And in parts of many cities, we have ultra wideband, the fastest 5G in the world. This is 5G built right, only from Verizon. When I put the key in the door, it was open, so it did like that. Shanay Porter says when she arrived home at her Briar Creek apartment Tuesday morning, she walked into a nightmare. Yeah, that's my baby. Two men she did not know lounging in her home, eating her food, wearing her ex-boyfriend's clothes. She says one of them even took a shower. A neighbor's doorbell cam shows two strange men the night before twisting doorknobs in the breezeway. She says her door was locked, but somehow they got in. And when Shanay came home, the young mom was terrified. I just looked at him and I said, "Who are you?" And he started coming towards me, and I heard to close the door. I didn't know what to think, what to say. I was so speechless. I never seen anything like this before. Emotions took a new turn when Raleigh police respond to Shanay's call to 911. Officers question the intruders. Shanay and her neighbors, angered and confused on what they see as a lack of urgency from police. The suspects in her apartment were both white. Shanay calls it a double standard. If I was a white woman and I called and said it was two black intruders in my house, I felt like they would have had them out my house immediately. You know your apartment number. Yeah, I'm shading. This is part. I want you to tell me what your apartment number. Man, arrest them now. They're in my house. She's a victim, and I want to see it treated like a victim situation. There is a foreign man in her home. That's why we have to change it. You have to understand. There's actually two. Get them detained outside. You can be detained outside. At this point in time, what's safest for us and every single person out there is to deal with them in that situation, detain them, and then bring them afterwards. I called you for help, and you go talk to them like there's, like good people, like they just broke into my house. I don't even feel safe with calling the police anymore because it's like you never know. So 35-year-old Charles Mary and 45-year-old Brian Capel were both eventually arrested, each man charged with breaking and entering. They remain in the Wake County Jail tonight. We did ask our PD about Shanay's allegation that her case was treated differently because of the race of the suspects. We didn't hear back about that aspect of the case. In Raleigh, I'm Joel Brown, ABC 11, Eyewitness News. When you've been injured.
Porter recorded the police interactions with the home invaders. It's bizarre. A cop asked one of the suspects, "Do you know your apartment number?" That's hardly relevant because this isn't their apartment. Burglar 1 asked Burglar 2, "What's our apartment number?" This impromptu Abbott and Costello routine didn't entertain Porter, who yelled, "Arrest them now." Because that's what cops do. They arrest people who break into people's homes, eat their food, raid their closets, like it's a consignment store. This wasn't a difficult case. One of Porter's neighbors also recorded this craziness on her cell phone. Porter asked the officers why the strange men are still in her house. It's a legitimate question. She wasn't throwing a party when she dialed 911. She wanted to reduce the number of white men in her apartment, not double it. The cops' response was infuriating. "Well, right now, we're trying to figure out what's going on. This isn't a Columbo mystery. Did the cops really think there was a chance the men were in the right house? Shanay is not a Karen. She couldn't call the cops without facts like her driver's license. The police could have cleared up any confusion by speaking to the frightened black woman. A neighbor who had Porter's back demanded the police treat her like someone whose house was broken into by strange men. An officer's cops explained to her that it's somehow procedure to detain burglars inside Porter's house. These cops wanted it to be, so badly that this wasn't this black woman's home, that the black woman wasn't a victim, that the victim couldn't be black, and the victims were really two white men. That's what they wanted. They wanted these white men, this apartment to be these two white men's home, but it wasn't. They couldn't face reality. These two white racist cops. At this point in time, what's safest for us and every single person here is to deal with them in that situation, detain them and bring them out forward. That's banana pants. Police ask people to step out of their cars during traffic stops, and those people usually own their own vehicles. The cops couldn't have just ordered the men to step out of the house with their hands up. Porter was literally left out in the cold. Charles Murray and Brian Capel were arrested eventually. They are charged with breaking and entering, but I still contend eating her food and wearing clothes from her closet bumped this up to burglary. Maybe I'm over attached to my leftovers and comfy sweatshirts. Porter doesn't believe the cops would have handled this the same way if she was white and Mary and Capel were black. If I was a white woman, I called and said it was two black intruders in my house. I feel like they would have had them out of my house immediately, Porter said. You think? If you're black, you're frequently surprised by the lengths cops go to confirm whether a white person committed a crime. It's like they're citizens. But with us, cops just assume we're criminals. That's how 12-year-old Tamir Rice died within seconds. I called police for help, and the officers talked to them like they're good people. They just broke into my house, Porter said. I don't even feel safe with calling the police anymore because it's like you never know. Unfortunately, deep down, black people do know how the police will likely respond to situations like this. It's never our house. We're just visiting. Sad to say, man. This is how it is in the South. This is how it is in the South. And it's terrible. That's all I could tell you. It's a very police brutality, white supremacy is real. Those two things are real. And whenever somebody want to lie and say white supremacy doesn't exist, let them listen to this story. Show them the story. I'm telling you, and she's right. If the situation was reversed, if it was two black homeless men in her apartment and she was white, those two black homeless men are going to be dragged out of that apartment with the quickness. Yeah, it is. It's sad. The good, the bad, and the ugly truth. It's sad. It's crazy. But this is how it's coming up to be. And plus, America's falling apart. Racism is going to be on the rise. It's going to be on the rise. And it's best for, blacks to protect themselves and know the law and to sue. This lady, this black woman from North Carolina needs to sue. She needs to sue and have these two cops fired. That's what needs to happen. Anyway, this is all I got for now. If you like the commentary, like, share, comment, and subscribe. All right. Later.